I am the Lonely Necron, and welcome to my basement. On the Fairy Kingdom planet, the Night Lords have sent scouting parties out searching for Necrons or possible caves. This group finds a hilly area, dotted with hinges and broken stone. The Dark Eldar are searching for the Night Lords to begin a revenge crusade for the inhabitants of the planet and their bloodlust. Mainly their bloodlust. They find their prey in an ancient hinge area. The Necrons, newly awakened on this ancient core world, have begun scouring the planet of its gnomish inhabitants. The presence of the Night Lords is seen merely as insects to be squashed. The appearance of the Drukhari, however, delights Pharaon Xantark, glad to be able to crush the children of the Great Old Ones, their ancient foes. His scouting parties are traversing the planet, annihilating any non-Necrons that they find. So yeah, three-way battle. My girlfriend's Drukhari making a nice little appearance. So this will be the battlefield that the three groups will be playing on today. Lots of hills, lots of little hinges, some trees, places to hide. So Chaos today will be led by this Demon Prince of Slanesh. We'll have two 11-man groups of Chaos Space Marines. This aspiring champion will have a chain axe, and there'll be a heavy bolter and a flamer in the group. This aspiring champion just has a chainsword, autocannon, and plasma gun in that grouping. About a 10-man squad of lowly little cultists, and then a 6-man squad of Space Marines. The aspiring champion is a power fist. No special weapons for that grouping. So for the Drukhari today, we have Succubus, two 5-man squads of Scourges, 5-man squad of Incubi that'll be riding in this Venom right here, 10-man squad of Kabbalite Warriors, 10-person, woman, whatever, squad of Witches, 2 Reavers and a Reigning Champion, and the almighty Talos that still scares the crap out of me. So yeah, Tracy's Drukhari. And finally, the Necrons. So we have this old school Cryptek is a Technomancer. They'll be leading the group. I've got a 10-man grouping of Flayed Ones, a 10-man grouping of the New Warriors with the Gauze Reaper, a Hexmark Destroyer, and 2 Locust Heavy Destroyers. One with the Gauze Destructor and the other one with the Enminic Exterminator. So yeah, I've already previously rolled off, so I will set up for deployment, and then we'll start this game. Okay, so the Necrons chose the squadron over here. So the Blade Ones are on the ground, ready to charge into the Night Lords. The Hexmark is behind them, ready to shoot up the Demon Prince. And then we have Heavy Destroyers up here, trying for just some high ground, I hope. The Warriors, probably the same thing, and the Technomancer, I don't know what he's going to do yet. We'll see. Now the Night Lords have their 2 squads of 11 positioned, ready to go into the Necrons. The Cultists and the 6-man squad, probably going into the Drukhari, and Demon Prince, I don't know, we'll see. Then for the Drukhari, pretty much everything surrounding this hinge right here. We have some Scourge over there, some Kabbalites under that fallen pillar, the Witches hugging the bottom of this hill over here, and then the Venom, the Succubus, the Talos, another squad of Scourges, and the Reavers Arena Champion kind of all hiding behind this hinge here. Probably smart. So in the roll-off, the Necrons ended up winning that one, so for the rest of this game we'll just do Necrons, Night Lords, Drukhari for the turns. And yeah. Good times will be had. And so we'll start with Necrons turn 1, movement. The Heavy Destroyer, the Enminic Exterminator. Heavy Destroyer just kind of moved up to the edge there. The warriors advanced to get off the hill. This heavy destroyer just moved off the hill. The flight ones advanced up to halfway up this hill area. The Technomancer and Hexmarks just kind of followed behind them. So shooting led us to this heavy destroyer, destroying one of these Chaos Space Marines. And that heavy destroyer shot at the witches but failed to hit. So nobody's within range to charge yet. So Night Lords turn 1. So for the Night Lords, the unit that was wounded advanced and got really, really close. This unit advanced up to the base of the hill. The cultists advanced around the side of this hill. These Space Marines just moved normally. And the Demon Prince of Slaanesh, seeing Drukhari, might have got a little mad and started coming their way. He is out of range for Smite. And shooting-wise, the only one in the entire grouping that even has a shot is the flamer here into these flayed ones. So we're going to do that. So the flamer killed the flayed one. So they advance so they cannot charge. So that takes us to Drukhari, turn 1. Okay. The witches have come around the corner and are now about to be challenging on these cultists. The succubus advanced up to be with the witches. The Reavers, Arena Champion, and Venom have all kind of lined up to take shots on the Demon Prince. These Kavalites stayed under the pillar. It seems pretty safe. The unpainted Scourges hopped up here on this hill thing, and the other Scourges kind of came up here on the other hill, well, behind the same hill. Talos just kind of is hanging out, I guess. Kind of central to the grouping. We're not really in actual combat yet. That'll truly be, I guess, where the Talos eventually decides to go. So yeah, that'll take us on to Drukhari shooting. Yeah, I see lots of shooting. The Venom and the Reavers Arena Champion all shot at the Demon Prince, but the Venom only did manage 1 point of damage. The Witches shot at the Cultists and killed a couple of them. The Talos also shot at the Cultists and killed 0 of them. And the Scourges are too far away to shoot anything. So, yeah, Drukhari charging, because these witches are definitely charging these cultists. So we will see if they are successful. In a surprising roll, the witches failed to make charge distance. So yeah, there's that. So we're on to round 2, Necron turn 2. The flayed ones, not wanting to suffer what the Drukhari just did, have shuffled a little bit closer to these Space Marines in anticipation of a charge. The Hexmark is heading for the Demon Prince. The Technomancer reanimated one of the flayed ones. This heavy destroyer is not moving. The Necron warriors advanced forwards, heading for the Scourges. And this heavy destroyer just topped up on the hill for more, I don't know, high, what is it, the high ground? Yeah, that. So we'll go on to Necron shooting. This heavy destroyer killed one of these Space Marines, and this heavy destroyer killed the Scourge. So we'll go on to Necron charging, which will be this group of flayed ones, into this group of Space Marines. So the Plague Ones killed a bunch of Space Marines, and the Space Marines killed a whole bunch of Plague Ones in return. So yeah. So that'll take us on over to Night Lord's turn 2. This squad is just going to choose to remain in combat with the Flayed Ones. This one advanced, most of them making it onto the hill, but some of them not. The cultists got closer to the witches, and the little tiny squad of Space Marines just kind of followed close behind them. The Diva Prince flew over here to the corner, and definitely going to get him some Drukhari. So, do Psychic Phase real fast. The Demon Prince smoked and killed a Reaver. So, yeah. Chaos shooting. The cultists and the Space Marines killed 4 witches, and everyone else either advanced or is a really bad shot. So that takes us on over to a Night Lord charging and fight phase, which will be these cultists, probably these Space Marines into these witches, this Demon Prince, hopefully into the Reaver, and Arena Champion. Continue on with the fighting over there with the Space Marines and the Played Ones. So yeah. So everybody made their charge, and nobody actually died during said charge. So we have a crazy cluster here, which is Space Marines, cultists, and then the Demon Prince and the Reaver and Arena Champion. Probably should have had the succubus heroically intervene. I mean, I guess there's still time, right? We'll do that too, just for fun. The succubus over here. And then we'll get into the fight phase, and yeah, fight phase. The cultists killed a couple of witches. The witches killed 4 of the cultists, and the succubus killed a Space Marine. Over here, the Demon Prince killed a Reaver. So, we will go on to Drukhari turn 2. The succubus and the remaining witches fell back. The Arena Champion also fell back. The Venom disgorged the Incubi and just kind of moved over there. The Talos is still just kind of hanging out, doing its thing. These Scourges moved forward to the edge, and these Scourges moved up from the bottom of the hill up here to the top. And these Cavaliers are also just kind of hanging out, doing their thing. So we will go to Drukhari shooting, which I anticipate to be a cleansing of this area here. But we will see. Everything that could shoot Drukhari-wise did, but the Kabbalites were the only thing that really did anything. 4 damage to this Demon Prince, but they didn't kill it. So that'll lead us into the charge phase, which will be these Incubi charging into the Demon Prince. And yeah. A great victory for the Drukhari. The Incubi killed the Demon Prince of Slaanesh, so at least there's no more Slaaneshi presence on the board for the Drukhari to worry about. So yeah, end of their turn. That'll take it over to round 3, Necron turn 3. So the only thing that happened for Necron movement was the Hexmark Destroyer hopped up on this hill, since his main target is dead. Otherwise, the Technomancer moved up a little bit, but the Played Ones here are staying in combat. This Heavy Destroyer, both of these Heavy Destroyers and these Warriors are just staying where they are. So, no Catan powers, so we'll go on over to Necron shooting. So this Hexmark and this Heavy Destroyer killed 5 Space Marines. This squad of Necron Warriors with the Gods Reapers killed 3 Scourges. There are no charges on this side, just a continuation of the fight between the Flayed Ones and the Space Marines, so we'll deal with that. The Flayed Ones killed several Space Marines, and the Space Marines killed a Flayed One that did not regenerate. So that'll take us over to Night Lord's turn 3. So these Space Marines are just going to stay in combat with these Flayed Ones. These Space Marines are also just going to hang out here with the intention of charging this hex mark. Over here, the cultists and the Space Marines have just kind of formed up and tried to get closer to the witches and the succubus, and unfortunately the Incubi, with the intention of hopefully successfully shooting them up and then charging into them. So, the demon got killed, so we have no psychics, so Night Lord shooting. So these Space Marines killed 2 witches. And this aspiring champion with the plasma pistol killed a Flayed One. So we'll go to Night Lord's charge and fight phase. The cultists and Space Marines successfully charged the 2 remaining witches. And the hex mark. So yeah, we'll deal with the fights for them, plus the remaining fight with these Flayed Ones. So the Flayed Ones killed off the Space Marines, but the Space Marines didn't kill off the hex mark. The cultists didn't do much of anything, but the Space Marines did kill off the remaining witches over here. So that'll take us over to Drukhari turn 3. So Drukhari movement. The Incubi just kind of turned around. Succubus also just kind of hanging out there. The Arena Champion Venom and Talus just kind of moved up a little bit. The last courage out of this group kind of moved forward with an intention of charging into these warriors over here, and the other full group, half full group, moved up to the edge to provide some fire support. So yeah, that'll take us on over to Drukhari shooting. That was a super awesome shooting phase for the Drukhari. The Venom and the Arena Champion, between the 2 of them, killed the 3 cultists and 4 Space Marines. The Kabbalites didn't really do much of anything. The Talos killed 2 of the Necron warriors, and the Scourges killed another 3 Necron warriors. So that'll put us up to Drukhari charges and fighting. So the Incubi did indeed wipe out the remaining Space Marines. So we'll go to round 4, Necron turn 4. Movement. So for the Necron side, this hexmark fell back from these guys. The Technomancer reanimated a Flayed One, and they just kind of bundled up towards this edge. And nothing else moved or did anything else of note. So we'll go on to Necron shooting. So of all of the Necron shooting, and there was a lot, this Heavy Destroyer killed the remaining Scourge out of there. So yeah, that'll take us on over to Necron charging, which will be these Flayed Ones into these Space Marines. So the Flayed Ones charged into the Space Marines, losing 1 to Overwatch, but they did kill off the other 4 Space Marines in the little fight thing. So the Night Lords have been completely eradicated from the field. So that'll take us to Drukhari turn 4. Okay, lots of movement on the Drukhari side. So the Kabbalites have come out from under the pillar out from under the pillar here. The Talos has hopped up on the edge of this hill. The Incubi have also hopped up on the hill behind this henge. The Succubus is just kind of hanging out behind the hill. The Arena Champion is kind of going for an end run here around the hill. And the Scourges are just hanging out there. So we'll go over into the Drukhari shooting. So everything that can shoot, pretty much for the most part, shot at these warriors, killing off a couple of them. And these Scourges did a couple points of damage to this heavy destroyer. Nobody's really in range to charge. I don't really want to risk the Scourges that way, so we'll go on to round 5, Necron turn 5 movement. Necron movement consisted of everything pretty much just moving closer to the Drukhari. The Flay ones just moved up to this hinge. The Technomancer hopped up here, reanimated another flayed one. The Hexmark advanced up to the tree. These warriors just moved around the boulder a little bit, and these heavy destroyers just stayed where they are. No Catan, so we'll go into Necron shooting. Kind of a disappointing Necron shooting phase. The warriors managed to kill a Kabalite, and the two heavy destroyers between them did 8 points of damage to the Talos. No charges from the Necron side, so we'll go over to Drukhari. Turn 4. I may be wrong on the number of turns. Either way, it's the Drukhari's turn. The Dark Eldar are feeling a little bit more confident about the rest of this experience. The Kabbalites have moved closer. The Succubus advanced forward to be with them. The Incubi advanced forward off the hill. The Venom just moved over here to the side. And the Arena Champion just moved up here kind of toward the backside. The Scourges didn't move at all, so we'll go to Drukhari shooting. The Talos and the Venom wiped out the remaining Necron warriors, and the Scourges did some more damage to this heavy destroyer over here. Nobody's in range for a charge, so we'll go on to the Necron turn. So the Technomancer gave the flayed ones another unit, and they all moved forward along this hill. The Hexmark regained his wound, and moved up closer to these Scourges. And the two heavy destroyers aren't moving still, so we'll go on to Necron shooting. The Hexmark killed a Scourge. This heavy destroyer did some damage to the Talos, and then this heavy destroyer killed the Scourge. So we're going to go on to Necron charging, which will be these flayed ones charging this Venom. That might have been a poor decision on the flayed one's part. They lost 2 charging in, but didn't lose any more, but also didn't do any damage to the Venom. So that takes us on to the Drukhari turn. So the Venom fell back, the Incubi moved up, the Succubus moved up, the Talos moved up, the Kabbalites moved up, the Scourges flew to another hill, and the Arena Champion moved up to this hill. So we'll go on to Drukhari shooting phase. The Talos did 2 damage to the Hexmark destroyer, and really that's all that occurred on shooting. We'll go on to the charge phase, which will be the Incubi into the flayed ones. The Incubi slaughtered the flayed ones. So we'll go to Necron movement. The Technomancer just kind of turned around. The Hexmark just kind of came up around the corner a little bit. And the destroyers are just hanging out. So we'll go to Necron shooting. So the Hexmark destroyer killed 5 Kabbalites. This heavy destroyer killed the Talos. And this heavy destroyer killed the Arena Champion. No one's going to be charging, so we'll go on to the Drukhari turn. Everything pretty much hopped up on a hill for that happy cover save. The Incubi, Succubus, and Venom are all on this one. The Kabbalites hopped up onto that hill, and the Scourges are just going to stay there. So we'll go on to Drukhari shooting. The Scourges continued their assault on this heavy destroyer and continued to not hit him. The Venom, with the assistance of the Kabbalite Warriors, killed the Hexmark destroyer. So we'll go on to charging, which will be a long shot for these Incubi into this Technomancer. But we'll see how the dice go. The Incubi managed to make a very long, almost impossible charge and kill the Technomancer at the same time. Yeah, I'm looking at the death rows of this Necron force here in a second, so we'll go on to the Necron turn. These guys are continue not moving, so they're just gonna go straight into shooting. This heavy destroyer tried to shoot at the Venom, but it managed to save. And this heavy destroyer killed the Scourge. So we'll go into the Drukhari turn movement. The Incubi just hopped down. The Succubus advanced up. The Kabbalite Warriors moved to the edge. And the Scourges are just staying there. So, yep. Drukhari shooting phase, hoping to kill these two heavy destroyers off. The Venom mostly killed this heavy destroyer. It only has one wound left. The Scourges only did one wound to this guy. So, yeah, can't really do any charging because charging units advanced to get here. So, Necron turn. These guys aren't going to move. They'll get a little bit of health back because they have living metal. And then we'll shoot with them. So this heavy destroyer did a couple points of damage to the Venom. This heavy destroyer killed the Scourge. So Drukhari, hopefully they can kill them off this turn. Drukhari killing the Necrons off this turn. So none of the Drukhari shooting elements have moved, but the Incubi and the Succubus have all moved over to the wall in anticipation of a cliff charge. So shooting for Drukhari. So the Drukhari were not able to kill everything, and they charged this thing and killed it. Got this thing down to one wound. It's Necron's turn, so he'll gain a wound back, probably kill that Scourge, and then it'll be the Drukhari's turn again. So let's see. The last Scourge has been vanquished. So now it comes down to Drukhari, hopefully the last turn. This heavy warrior only has, two health left, so hopefully they can kill him. Let's see. The Venom unloaded everything it had and finally managed to kill off that last Necron heavy destroyer. So at the end of the day, the Drukhari have won the first three-way. Not a whole lot of them left. This was fun. I quite enjoyed this. I was super surprised by the ending. I would just like to say, Drukhari are very, very hard to... No, they're easy to kill. That's it. They've got 3 toughness. It's ridiculous. And Drukhari players, how do you deal with the super small bases? Just curious. I don't know. This was fun, and I will see you all next time.